Welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show. This is the Front Office Report. I'm joined, as always, by the general manager of the Newport Gulls, Chuck Pava. And Chuck, last night, Steven Sauter was one of two big bats to help the Newport Gulls get their victory over the Ocean State Waves. Steve Sauter was a late signing. The BC Eagle came in at the deadline looking for a spot to play in. And what were you looking for when you signed Sauter that late?
Well, first of all, let's talk about Steven Sauter's performance last night. And the game before that, quite frankly, he broke the ice the game before with a double to right center field when a scoreless game and got us going. Last night he broke the ice and we were struggling against that team. And when he hit that three-run homer over the right field fence, it really loosened up us a little bit. So, yeah, no, he's provided a tremendous defensive, offensive, and team chemistry component to this team, which is good. Now let's talk about where Steven comes from. Boston College kid. Once I wasn't going to sign another catcher. We were trying to figure if Darryl Miller Jr. was going to be able to help us. I was in constant contact with his doctor, his trainer, and Darryl and his coaches or whoever he was dealing with to figure out whether he was going to be able to help us or not. He kept telling me, I think I should be okay. When it got close to the deadline, I realized that I could not depend on him anymore, that I had to find somebody else to pick up that slack that we didn't have a backup catcher. And if you remember, it just really hit me hard when Drew Lugbauer got hit on a backswing in the elbow about 3 or 4 games ago. And I was really concerned at that point whether how much we were exposed. I realized I needed to do something for this team to stabilize them for the playoffs and for the rest of the season. And I knew I had 2 days to do it. So I did my traditional. I went out and reached out to first local schools who might have somebody local that I don't have to fly in. And I reached out to UConn, Boston College, Bryant, URI, a couple of schools like that in this region. And the first response I got, one of the responses I got was from Coach Foster up at BC. Said his catcher had just returned from the Jayhawk League, and he may be interested in helping us. And then the other guys I looked at, I thought they were probably pretty good too, but Steve was the first one I approached. I called him up, and he said he was interested, and the rest is history.
Now, obviously a team doesn't want to be in that situation where they're looking for extra help at the deadline, where they need the extra help. But when the season starts, is that something that you're doing from pretty much first pitch of game one, just making sure, keeping an eye out on other summer leagues and around other local schools to see if maybe you could bring somebody in late to help the team, even if it's just to get to the end of the regular season?
And I don't really look at the other summer leagues. I just really look day to day at this club and see what we need or what we don't need. And your roster's pretty big in the middle of the season, so you got a lot of depth. When someone goes down, there's Cooper Elliott, there's this guy, there's that guy, there's a bunch of guys that can help you. But at the end of the year is when you're losing guys and there's no more reserves in the tank, so to speak. So you got to start thinking about what you have to do outside the box, outside your family here to make sure that they're solid enough to continue the season and everybody, not stretch anybody out or hurt anybody. And, Steve Sauter, as it turns out, is a great fit. I told him he fits like a glove. He seems like he's been with us a while. The players love him. The pitchers like throwing to him. So it's all good stuff. He's really fit in tremendously, and I don't know if I could have found a better fit than Steven.
Now let's talk a little bit about last night. The atmosphere here at Cardines Field, absolutely electric. Everybody knew it was a winner-go-home ball game. Two clubs that did not want to go home at the end of that night. Let's talk about just the overall atmosphere. Cardines Field sold out again. Nearly 3,000 people were here to see this great win from this good ball club.
Tremendous. We're just so lucky, Rob, to have the fanatic fans, the passionate fans that come out and support us every year. This is playoff time. They stay longer. They know the names. They're more passionate. And frankly, we had a rival right across the bridge 15 minutes from here, so they brought some people in here too. And it made it kind of contesting, They were cheering for their team, and then when the Gulls got our runs, this place got crazy, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was insane. And going into tonight, the Mystic Schooners played this ball club very hard during the regular season. Expect nothing but a great series here. But what are you looking for the most in the Southern Division Championship Series?
Rob, again, it comes down to, in these games, baseball, pitching, good defense, timely hitting like normal, and the first team that gets a break may capitalize, and it's going to be a battle. We're here now, and worn down, and they're probably worn down. They have a little day's extra rest than us. But this is baseball, and championship baseball. It doesn't matter. We just got to go out and do what we're capable of doing.
Let's have a little bit of fun tonight, Chuck. Thanks a lot for taking a couple of minutes with me.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me.
That is Chuck Pava, the GM of the Newport Gulls. Much more here as the Newport Gulls pregame show continues next.